live from Estopan All End. It's the Morados podcast, powered by the state of Louisville.
Welcome to the Morados podcast on the State of Louisville Podcast Network. I am Zach. I am here with my buddy Benton. Benton, how you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. How about yourself?
I am doing much better than I thought I would be doing 90 minutes into that Louisville City game.
Yeah, I was stressing out on that one for a while.
I was ready to come in hot. I was ready to be furious.
Yeah, I was feeling a little pessimistic on there, and it was very frustrating because, well, I'll save it. We'll get into it shortly. Yeah,
we got plenty. We only have one game this week, so we got plenty of time to get into that. So, first off, Benton, what are you into this week?
Well, with it being the end of September, this is about where Oktoberfest really starts to kind of like kick into gear, I guess, like thematically. It's my pumpkin spice latte, if you will. So I really enjoy the Oktoberfest beers and just kind of all things like German culture, the pretzels and the lederhosen and all that stuff. So I'm really excited about that. In fact, people aren't going to be able to see this on an audio podcast, but I'm wearing a shirt with a pretzel on it in celebration, because I just got that. So looking forward to all that. This is the time of year where I drink the most beer because I'm into that Oktoberfest beer. And strangely enough, the best one is probably one of the most accessible ones to get. Sam Adams Oktoberfest, like, it's hard to beat it. There's a lot of other good ones out there, but really, like, that's probably the
I like good October flavor. Autumn's a good flavor. Flavor time of the year.
Yeah. So
I think
I'm into
the most annoying gotcha a person can try to do, though, is be like, do you know pumpkin spice doesn't have pumpkin in it? Yeah, it's the spice that you cook pumpkin in. We all get that. That's not like a fun fact. People need to stop trying to pull that one out.
I've never actually had I don't think I've had anything pumpkin spice flavored. I don't really normally like pumpkin, but as you said, it's not really that. So I don't know. I need to try it sometime, I guess. Check it off the list, I don't really do like lattes, which I guess is kind of the main thing it's associated with.
It's like Americanized chai. It's just chai, basically.
Yeah. You
got some cinnamon, you got some cardamom, you got some nutmeg, I think, in there. It's like, yeah, it's the American equivalent of chai.
That's my homework assignment. By the time we record our next podcast, I will try like a pumpkin spice latte or something.
Ooh, that'd be a fun one.
Yeah, I should do it, and then I'll come back with my review. It'll probably be pretty meh, but I'll give it a try.
Hey, they're not bad. They're not bad.
All right, Zach, what are you into?
This week I have been into Dimension 20, the newest season, Mintopolis. Me and Lori have been watching that on the weeknights. For context, Dimension 20 is like Dungeons and Dragons, like live play TV show on it's College Humor Dropout on their streaming service that Brendan Lee Mulligan runs it, but they do these nice like short seasons, but and they pick it's like a completely different story each season, so it's usually like 6 to 8 episodes. It's really fun. A lot of like fun people on it, and they always have guests on there for most of the seasons, but the most recent season has been the setting is, it's like Inside Out. It takes place inside of someone's brain, and all of the characters are like aspects of their personality, but it's like a noir, like detective mystery. It's like a dark city, and it's really fun. And then the guests are also really fun this season. Hank Green, one of the Green brothers, is on there and plays. He's the Fix, who is the person that they're in the brain of is a scientist, and he's like his hyperfixation. So when the guy is focused on a thing, he's who goes and like intimidates all the other things that could steal his focus away. It has been really fun this season. We have one episode left. We've been like consuming that very quickly after we put Chuck to bed on the weeknights.
I have a second thing I have to bring up that I'm into this week. You kind of like indirectly reminded me, or I just thought of it during it. So I like Doctor Who, but I haven't watched much of it in the past like few years, to be honest.
I'm about 50 years behind on Doctor Who. So
Oh, are you an old Who guy?
No, I'm not. I'm not an any Who guy.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant you only watch like the old one. I'm like, damn. Um,
No, I
no,
guess I'm 60 years behind. Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of fun, but I kind of stopped watching like late Capaldi, early
Yeah.
like Lady Doctor. Nothing against Lady Doctor. I just kind of stopped. I
I've
guess
seen a
I
couple
don't.
of the Tenet episodes. I've seen the hits.
That's where I'm gonna get. But yeah, like I don't know. It's just I guess when I watch series, I like to be able to watch them all at once. And if it's like week by week thing, a lot of times I just seem to kind of like forget, even if I really like it. So anyway, so I gotta get caught up. But the reason I bring this up is because I just randomly on YouTube happened to see a trailer for they do specials like every year. And a lot of times when they're transitioning doctors, which they're about to do. And this one, this whole
David
like
Tennant's
special.
back. I did see that. I did see that trailer.
Yes. Yeah, the 10th Doctor, David Tennant's back, and he's bringing back Donna, who I forget her name. She's like a known like British actress. She was like in The Office briefly, the redhead one for you Office fans who don't watch Doctor Who. She was Donna, so they're bringing back them like for a movie, and so I'm just like, oh, so I'm really excited and reinvigorated again by Doctor Who. So I need to get caught up, and that's another thing I'm about to be into, and I have to share.
You seen Good Omens?
No, I know he's in that. That's on
Good Omens
Amazon,
is really
right?
great. Yeah, it's him and Michael Sheen, uh, like an angel and a demon. I just yeah, Lori is really into Good Omens. I enjoyed watching that with her, but that's a fun show because it's like a rare case where the two main characters are very different from each other, but also I think the actors that play the two main characters could switch roles and it would still work.
Oh, David Tennant's fantastic. He can do anything. I love him. But so yeah, I'm into that. If you like nerdy sci-fi stuff, Doctor Who's just like a ton of fun. And if you are into that, you probably already know about Doctor Who. If you're not into it,
I think you've
sorry, it's
had
your
plenty of
loss.
time to find out about Doctor Who because it's been on for 50, 50 years.
Yeah,
Have you ever
it's
watched
a
any of the
hiatus for a
actual
little bit.
old or any of the old?
A
Because
little bit.
I watched a little bit of when they because it was gone for a while and they brought it back. So I watched a little bit of when they brought it back, and then I saw a little bit of the David Tennant stuff. Whichever one Amy Pond was the sidekick on. I
Matt
watched
Smith.
Yeah, I think that was Matt Smith.
Yeah, he was in like Game
Yeah,
of
it's like
Thrones and
I
stuff.
pop in and out of Doctor
No.
Who, but I don't follow it super consistently.
Yeah, not to get too off track. Like I tried watching a long time ago. I watched like with the reboot, which is the Ninth Doctor, which the Chris Eccleston, and it just did not hook me at all. And then eventually I tried again, but I start with Matt Smith, and I loved it. And then I circled back, and I still don't love the Eccleston stuff. Like, but the
I don't love
production
him. I
quality
like
just shifted over
Rose.
time.
The
Rose Tyler, yeah,
his lady friend was good. There's a really good like 90s Doctor Who pinball that I've wanted to play for a while, and I've nowhere I've been has had it. So that's on my like pinball bucket list, just to play the Doctor Who game at some point.
there you go. But so yeah, I'm looking forward to that special. I don't think it comes out till like Christmas or whatever, so I got plenty of time to get caught up on all the stuff I haven't seen. And with soccer going to be a good transition. With soccer going to be winding down
we're about to have lots of free
in the
time.
coming weeks. Yeah, I'm going to have the free time to do that. I just realized this is the time of year when oh man, I'm not going to have all this stuff coming up, and I realize like how much time I'm dedicating to soccer. I'm like, oh my gosh, like a little obsessive.
Also, no spoilers for the later half of this podcast, but I think our free time may be coming sooner than it has in past years.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the game, though. The game was good. The last 10 minutes of the game were good.
It was, well, first off, we have to address the elephant in the room, and that was the horrible weather conditions there.
Woo!
It's like cold. It was like heavily raining, and it's apparently very like one directional. And I found out afterwards, like kind of going into the Louisville City players. So I guess they get a little bit of there's a little bit of slack for that first half performance. Before we go any further, we have to shout out the fans in attendance. We had several traveling fans that braved those elements and watched that match, and they rewarded it with two bangers, which we'll get to. So shout out to the likes of
our old man over 30 league team captain Chris was.
Yeah, I was going to shout out Chris, Bob Lazinski. There's a handful of people. There are probably as many Louisville people braving the weather as Loudon people. So good for you guys. But anyway, as far as the match goes, like you said, like it ended well. Like we got what we needed out of that, but it was
I have some thoughts.
frustrating.
Yeah. So 2-1 victory. Loudon scores first on a pretty incredible header that is not an angle you score from on corner kicks very much. That he was a solid 5 yards in front of the front post, pretty shallow angle on it. He had to just sort of skim that ball. I think it went through Zimla's arms, or it went right over top his head. He just barely missed it. So I want to give props to Loudon there, because I thought that was like just an incredible finish on that.
It's still frustrating though from the fact like this has just been such a reoccurring issue as a team, particularly with 2 of the 4 goals that Miami just a few days earlier had scored against us being set piece goals. So,
but anyway, I think unlike some of the Miami ones, that was just an incredible finish.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
But it's like it's and then so Louisville comes back in the second half, scores. Let's see, at 60-something minute.
I think it's like 73 or something like that. It was early 70.
Scores near the end of it's like midway through the second half. It's right after Dylan Maris checked in. He scored in the 68th minute. So
okay,
and then score right the very start of extra time, like the 91st minute to win the game. And I don't know how to feel about it because I was ready to be super angry, but Louisville played well and had way more chances. They just were not going in. They hit the post twice. Like, you look at overall, especially having won it, it's like they dominated statistically. They had lots of good chances. They won 2-1, but man, that game felt like it should have been wrapped up much earlier than it was.
Yeah, I really for a while I was really dreading it was going to be one of those matches where it just sucks. You get all the opportunities and it just doesn't fall for you, especially in the situation that we find ourselves in, like battling for the table and whatnot. But they did eventually get the job done, thankfully. I mean, the weather kind of calmed down in that second half, and you get 2 outstanding goals.
Also, speaking of shots that hit the post, that free kick from Mogul in the first half was a rip. Oh, man, that deserved to go in. So that was too good of a shot to not go in.
Did you go to the preseason match against Knoxville?
I did not.
Beginning of the year. So in that one, Carlos hit a free kick that hit off the post like that as well, kind of like in the top corner. Yeah. So ever since then, I've been really wanting him just to bury one of those shots, and he just keeps getting so close.
Yeah, it was one of those. I mean, I'm glad that they were able to win it, but it was one of those lid on the goal type games. That Ombi had one off a corner that hit the post. Oh, Jorge had a header that was just like a ripper from right outside the goal that just went right to the keeper.
Wasn't there one that was close? It was like an awkward sequence, like right on the goal line.
Yeah, it was a bounce, and someone was on the ground and tried to just tap it in at the end.
It's Paulo, maybe.
And really not. I mean, we mentioned. I think that it was a great shot, but the goal that Loudon had was not like a super great opportunity. That you want to push people out front like that on a header. That's like that. It was not like that was middle of the box on a corner kick or anything. Yeah. And outside of that, did not really have a lot of good chances. They only had 9 shots total. However, FOTMob defines it, no big chances from them. So, I mean, if everything in that game had happened in a different order, I think we feel a lot better about it. It's just because it came down to the very end like that. It feels like it just they should have. I mean, just counting up the shots that were near misses and hit the crossbar, they could have been up 4 or 5-1 in that game.
Oh yeah, it totally could have been ugly. And I mean, you're totally right on it. The order just defining things so much. It's. I mean, our the feeling that we're left with from that match is the feeling that we had for the majority of it. But I mean, again, at the end of the day, they got the job done. They needed the points. They did
needed the points, especially if they won a home game.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I guess Well, if we're going to pivot to
I have one
table.
more thing before we pivot.
Okay. Yep.
So Maris had just an absolute worldie of a goal, and also had the assist on the game-winning goal. Is he playing enough? Should he be? Because he's been for the last chunk of the season, he's been like a second half sub. Should we be seeing more of him? Because he has been an offensive spark like the moment he's come in for the last couple games.
Elijah's definitely had a lot of that as well, and I think they're the ones that are kind of directly competing with each other. And after a performance like that, it's probably when the situations where I would expect that he's going to get to start next time, and Elijah will be the one coming off the bench. And it's just one of the competition things that Danny really kind of desires with the team. So it's a good problem that he has. So so to your point, yeah,
I just want to throw that out there.
He probably should be playing more, and he probably will start to get to play some more. And I mean, obviously, a lot of that's going to be dictated by things that we're not going to see, such as practice and whatnot. But he's made it harder on Danny.
He was dealing with a knock earlier in the season, wasn't he? I can't remember. It's hard to keep track, man. It's been a season for injuries.
Yeah,
but I think
too many.
I think he had to miss some time for a while. So
yeah, I don't think it was like super significant though.
Yeah,
it was just a little bit of time. But yeah, I think he's definitely kind of played himself more into the conversation. I don't think he was ever like deeply on the outside, like looking in. It was just one of those things where I think Elijah was the kind of preferred choice for that type of role. But again, like you might see that inverted just simply because of his recent run.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was a big pickup. He had a great season for El Paso.
Yeah.
Last season. So like he's proven he can handle a lot of the offensive load on a good team.
I think most of the time when he's been out there, he's been, I don't say quietly good, because I mean, he scored several goals and whatnot. I don't think that anybody's really given him the credit he deserves for what he's contributed for his time on the pitch.
Yeah.
He's probably honestly one of our better pickups in the offseason.
I would like to see more of him in these last couple games.
Yeah, I do not disagree with that. And this is coming from an Elijah Widener mega fan.
Oh, two Elijah Widener mega fans.
Yeah, big fans. But hey, that competition helps everybody.
Yeah,
so I'm down for it. So what we'll cut to a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll talk some tables. We'll talk Louisville City's table. We'll talk Racing's table, and then
talk some international break news.
Yeah, and a few other weird little random things. So stay tuned. We will be right back.
Welcome back. I'm still Zach. I'm still here with Ben. Ben, we have no racing game to talk about this week.
Now, a little bit of a break and
international break.
I think it's a good thing. It's a good thing for them, I think.
I think they're playing. I know Wang Shuang's over playing with China in like a cup that should have been earlier this year, but got moved back.
That was about it. I didn't realize it was moved around.
Yeah, that was because when they signed her, it was part of her contract that she got off to play in this tournament. And then the tournament that was supposed to be sort of earlier in this. See, I don't remember why it got pushed back, but it was supposed to be before the World Cup. And then it got pushed.
Okay, I had no idea. I was not tracking on that.
I think it's their Olympic qualifier. But anyway, we had international break. DeMello was off playing for Team USA and Megan Rapinoe's farewell tour. Timby was playing against Team USA on that same tour.
Cincinnati too.
Yep, in Cincy, which that's perfect for them. That's a quick trip for international duty. Not often you can drive to your international games.
Right.
I think I saw for Northern Ireland, Bex got a start. So we had a couple players out on international duty.
Piggy Amsa was with her team as well.
Oh, it's Norway.
Yep.
Was she with the first team or still the youth team?
I think it's the first team.
Nice. Yeah. Good to see from her. So anyway, because of that, no racing game to talk about, but you had some table talk you wanted to get into.
Yeah, we'll talk about both the teams' table positioning, and I guess we've kind of talked about the Racing one before, but it's nice to revisit it before these final 3 games that they have. So Racing, it's a tight one. Before we were recording, you were complaining. I completely agree about the position we could have been in if we had gotten a result against Houston Dash.
So before we recorded, I finished doing the stitching on my sweet game day jacket, and I joked that I guess I'll get to wear it for 3 games because I think we have two Louisville City home games and 1 Racing home game for the regular season, and as things stand right now, those are the only home games we'll have. But Racing, had they taken care of business in that Houston game, would be playing for that like 3-4 spot right now. They would have a home game on the line with these last couple games right now. So it really brings in how much of a missed opportunity that was. Yeah, they would currently be 1 point out of a home playoff game. No, I take that back. They would be in a home playoff game. No, they'd be tied for 5th. So 1 point behind 4th. Yeah, there we go. So they'd be right in the mix.
Instead, we find ourselves in 9th with Angel City, Orlando Pride ahead of us, and then Washington Spirit in that last playoff position.
The only bright spot is it's completely within their control to swap places with Orlando. They play Orlando, so they can swing that. They don't have to worry about another team beating Orlando.
That's true, but 7th doesn't get us in, so we still have
that just does one of them.
Spirit problem.
Yeah, they still got to rely on OL or the Spirit or Angel City. Some of those play each other, so somebody's dropping points. But it's looking like they got to win out at this point.
Yeah, I mean, we go away to the Red Stars, which is probably the most achievable of this last stretch. Home against the Pride, and then
which is the biggest, probably the most important of them.
And then away to San Diego, which we were hoping would not matter in the end, but now it really
almost
does.
It's definitely going to matter now. If it doesn't matter, it's because they've been eliminated.
Yeah, I really think it'll become like a decision day sort of thing, and it might even be a situation in which even if we win that one, we still don't get in. Again, there's just a lot of pieces still to shake out, and again, with how tight the table is, it's just insane. Like how many different ways things could go.
Although,
but
I think shout out to the way the schedule is done this year, though. I do like that we got an actual decision day. I think all those games kick off at the same time. Everybody's playing on the same day. I think that is going to make for a very fun last day of the season.
It's 5 o'clock on Sunday, October 15th.
I am a big fan of balanced schedules and everybody playing at the same time at the end of the season. I do
appreciate that.
That is the proper way to run a soccer league.
Yeah, I'm on board with that one. Just wish it didn't matter for us. I wish we had our positive fate already determined.
If we didn't want it to matter, I mean, I think it was always going to matter, because even if we had won that Houston game, I think it's as tight as everyone is. It's gonna matter for pretty much everybody.
Yeah. So we will see what happens on with that situation as far as Louisville City's goes. Yeah, like you said, it's looking like we'll probably be playing on the road for the playoffs, but it's not impossible.
Up for grabs.
Yeah, so we're tied with Memphis on points at 49, but they have the goal differential lead and it's +6. So that kind of seems like a pretty steep number it's a big pickup to overcome at this point in the game. So we really need to kind of beat them on points, which is we got to win, and they got to drop something along the way. And we go away to New Mexico, home for Hartford, and then home against the Rowdies. And much like Racing, I was kind of hoping that last game wouldn't really be a huge move the needle as far as where they're going to land. But at this point,
they're in a
probably
weird
does.
position to where they're in the thick of it with Memphis, but everyone else is kind of comfortably behind them right now. So it really does look like it's either the 4th or the 5th spot. That's basically what they're. I think that's pretty much their only 2 spots they realistically are going to finish in.
It helped because for a minute there looked like Indy was going to enter the picture, but they've lost 2 and drew 1 in their last 3 matches, so they've kind of tripped themselves up and taken themselves out of the conversation. But I was concerned there for a second they were going to be kind of wedging themselves in the mix and kind of making things a little more complicated.
They're 7 points back
with us in
right
Memphis. I mean, I guess it's always possible theoretically for the Rowdies to kind of fall from grace a bit. They have 4 games. I'm not expecting it. They have 4 games left: Hartford, Loudoun, Pittsburgh, and us.
They have a game in hand, and they're 5 points up right now. So we'll see.
Yeah, Hartford and Loudoun, like, they're gonna win. They should be winning those at least. You never know. They would have done us a solid if they like drew with Memphis. Because that would have been, I guess, best scenario. Would have keep them within reach of us and helped us get over Memphis. Because I don't want them to win either, because then that just kind of extends their positioning.
Yeah. Hate being in a position to have to pay attention to other teams' schedules.
Yeah, but I mean, regardless, like it seems most likely that we are going to play Memphis in the playoffs. It's just kind of determining where, and it seems more likely
who's going to be at home.
More likely we're going to AutoZone Park than them coming to Lynn Family Stadium. But you never know. You never know. It's doable. I wish this was a more positive conversation. I was hoping by this point in the game, like, we could be more optimistic. Home playoffs, baby. Yeah, racing's in. But
I mean, like, the NWSL, though, everything is so tight there that, man, they might get a home playoff game. It's weird. It's real weird over there right now.
I'm not betting on it.
No,
put it that way.
I just mean, like, it is. They are within reach of that home playoff spot. It's very weird for it to be this tight right now.
Yeah, not eliminate, and it's not one of those weird situations where it takes like 100 different scenarios to happen. Like, but anyway.
Well, and also it's kind of like the West in the USL is like that right now too, because I think you mentioned, New Mexico's second to bottom in the table, so you're like, oh, that should be like a winnable game, but their record's not that bad. They are only a couple points out right now. They're 10-7 and 14. That's win, draw, loss, the way it should be. They have 37 points. 41 points is the playoff cutoff line right now there. Yeah. So,
but here's another way of looking at it. 37
that
points.
That whole Western Conference is tight.
Yeah. I mean, but for context, like 37 points, that's how many points Detroit has. Like, so they're kind of like, I'd say roughly in that territory. A team we should be beating, but as we've seen, like, we could lose to.
Yes, they're second to last, but there's a big gap between them and the bottom of the table, and a very small gap between them and everyone in front of them. So.
Yeah. I mean, they're not like utter, like, horrible dumpster fire, but
like
they
Las
are
Vegas.
Certainly. They are certainly a team that we should be beating under normal circumstances, but you never know what team's going to come out.
Yep.
So, any final thoughts on either tables or the upcoming conclusion of our regular soccer season?
I mean, I think that covers it. I don't feel great, but also, man, it's like, it's still a lot up for grabs. Less for Louisville City, but like, everything's up in the air for Racing. That can shake out a lot of different ways these last 3 games.
So here's the silver lining to all this, is that when you have things like this close and this dramatic, it makes winning or achieving something like that all the sweeter. So that's how I'm trying to positively spin it to myself. So if we do succeed, it's going to feel that much better, rather than us like kind of cruising to the finish line, you know?
Oh, we talked about the international break a little bit. Do we want to mention that Wang Shuang scored 5 goals in a game for China?
You told me this and I didn't believe it. How? So China played Mongolia. What was the final score of China versus Mongolia?
16-0.
Yikes!
And 5 of those were Wang Shuang's. other than like Erling Haaland, back when he was playing with the youth team, and I think he had like 9 goals in a game or something absurd.
Yep.
I've never heard of anyone scoring that much in a game.
Well, U.S. and Thailand and
U.S. Thailand, yep.
like what, 2 World Cups ago or something.
Like,
but yeah, Mongolia didn't exactly strike me as a soccer nation, but at the same time, like it's still pretty lopsided.
I'm not even positive you can play soccer in Mongolia. Like, Mongolia does not have the climate for playing soccer. It's on top of a huge plateau. They get cold winds from Siberia. It is like, I believe it's the coldest like major occupied city in the world. There's only like 3 million people in Mongolia, and I think like 50 to 60% of them live in the capital city. It's basically a city and then huge barren like plains, high mountain plains. It's also super high up, so like anyway, I would not expect Mongolia to be a super strong football nation.
The only time I ever think of Mongolia is in the context of like Mulan, because they were like the bet, like weren't the Huns, weren't they Mongolian?
Yep.
Yeah, so I think of that, and then my elementary school music teacher did like a mission like trip to Mongolia, and that was the first time I heard of that country ever being mentioned.
Yes, I believe that.
Everything I ever think of.
Crash Course World History, it's like a YouTube history channel. I used to really enjoy that. The running gag on there was that the exception to every rule about civilizations they made was the Mongolians.
Crash Course Civilization. I have to look that up. I'm always looking for fun YouTube series to follow.
Yeah, Crash Course is great.
Good deal. I think there's one other thing you wanted to bring up. What was that, Zach?
Okay, yeah. So we got time to fill this week. I sent you a tweet. So I am generally not one for celebrity dating news, but somebody had shared. So Taylor Swift is, I guess maybe I don't know. I think maybe dating somebody on the Chiefs. And he
Travis Kelce.
Yeah. His podcast has shot to #1 on the Apple podcast charts this week. There was a 400% increase in jersey sales for his jersey. Their game this weekend was the highest watched NFL game of the week. It was like 2 or 3 times as many viewers as the last game they played. There was I think a 70% increase in female viewers for the game over their average on the season. 400,000 new followers on Instagram. Just a list of, here's the plan, Benton. We gotta send someone on Louisville City to date Taylor Swift. We need that Swift bump for the team. We need to. I feel like we could give the Messi show a run for its money if we could get someone in there to date Taylor Swift on the team. And so I wanted to know who's your pick. We get VIP tickets for one person in Louisville City to try to get them to sweet talk Taylor Swift. Who are we sending?
Well, I'd appreciate the benefits, all those, all the increase in basically everything that it'd bring. I think it'd be an enormous distraction, and I don't love the idea. But that's why I'm happy it happens to the Chiefs, because I can't wait for them to break up, and then he just getting absolutely like roasted on some album. It's gonna be like the most listened to thing of all time. But all of that aside, time to pick a player. Jorge.
Which
Gonzalez.
is a good choice. I was going to come with Oscar. The women in my life seem to mostly have a crush on Oscar, but I like the choice of Jorge. I feel like that's a good choice.
Jorge is perceived as being,
he's got that European vibe.
Yeah, fun young Spaniard. Like that seems like it would work to me. So Jorge, I nominate you to date Taylor Swift. Sorry if you don't want to. Do it for the team, buddy.
Sorry, man. You're going to take one for the team. You're going to have to be the most hated person in America in a couple weeks.
So, did you have another runner-up besides Oscar?
This was not my idea.
Mulling over.
We had a group chat with the state of Louisville guys that they wanted to throw out Paulo there because Paulo oh gosh, I'm blanking on her name.
Katie George.
Wife. Yeah. Paolo managed to nab Katie George, so like Paolo has some skills. I guess Katie would have to take one for the team. But yeah, I think Paolo's also a good choice.
Could you imagine how much of a circus it would be if she did just not even like dating and something? She just wanted to go to a Louisville City game. Like, it's one thing for Jack Harlow to do it. It's another if like Taylor Swift does that with like how obsessive the fans are. Like, I honestly don't even think the stadium is equipped to just like handle the security like necessary for something like that.
Now you got me thinking, is our best shot actually to get Jack Harlow to take her to a game? It's Jack Harlow actually our best chance?
That's actually probably the most like realistic.
That's probably actually the most realistic.
They cross orbit. They probably know of each other's existence because all the other people are just named. She does not know they exist. So yeah, it's Jack Harlow is the right answer.
I think I changed. Sorry, Oscar.
That would be pretty funny though.
Yeah,
but I don't know if he's going to take her to a second division soccer match. Maybe your top division women's team though. Yeah. That could be fun.
Huh?
Where's she from? Does she have like a team that she would theoretically associate with if she was a sporting person? I don't think she is.
Tennessee. So.
Oh, I knew that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Nashville SC probably. SC. Anyway.
Big Vandy fan, huh? That's a way you could finally get Vanderbilt to have people in attendance for the football games.
Yeah.
There's notoriously never anybody there. Or when there are people there, it's all the other team. It's a little sad.
All right. Do you have anything else?
No, not this point. Just kind of we're waiting with bated breath for these last few games because of just how important they are. It's stressful. Yeah, jacket weather. You got your jacket on. It's ready for its debut. I'm ready to break mine back out, which I only got to really wear late in the season. Look at that. I can't wait for people.
I don't think we're going to post the video, so that doesn't matter. I was showing it off.
I can't wait for people to get that. I know you posted a picture and I hope people see it. You did it. You did that by hand.
Mm-hmm.
I just went to Etsy. I'm like, here's what I want. Will you make this? And somebody did that. But you did it by hand.
I did that with some stuff. Yeah, I got it's like most of the patches are off Etsy, but I wanted the big Vamos Morados logo on the back. Also, you can't change the logo of the website now, just because I ain't stitching that again. That took too many weeks.
No, that's fine. I have no plans to change it. I love the concept, and I had to get somebody else to make it for me. It's not like I have that digital graphic design ability to do so.
Oh, I was talking about the jacket with one of my neighbors, and so native plants have also been a big one. So I was like, oh, Kentucky State Flowers goldenrod. After I do the Vamos Morados logo on the back, I should do like a goldenrod on the jacket somewhere. And I mentioned this to my neighbor, and she was like, aren't you currently stitching a goldenrod right there in front of me? And I was like, oh, that's what that is below the Kentucky crest. I already have two goldenrod on the jacket.
Yep.
So yeah, so made me feel real dumb.
That's okay.
In my head, looking at the state flag, I had always seen that in my head as like big yellow petals, not as collections of little yellow petals, which is what goldenrod is. Yeah. It's just the way it was stylized in the drawing. I never put two and two together. That's what it was.
You learn something new every day, huh?
Yeah. And then Lori pointed out to me, I think the flower that I copied over from Racing's jersey, I think might actually also have a goldenrod in the background.
You have all sorts of native pollinators on your jacket. Good for you.
I want to do some bees. That is
beads.
Either find some pins, because the Racing home kit from last year, like butterflies and bees. I was
just doing the Arrested Development shirt, the joke, the bees and beads. I do that all the time. Anytime one of those words is said, you know what I'm talking about? Bees. Yeah.
All right, Ben. I think we've wasted these people's time for long enough.
Yeah, I'm getting on the weird Arrested Development jokes. So thank you guys for tuning in as always. Stay tuned with us for the last push of the season for both Louisville City and Racing. We'll talk about these matches and how things are playing out. More stressful than we want it to be, but again, hopefully it makes winning all the better. Fingers crossed on the winning part. So take care. Catch you guys next week. Vamos Morados.
Bye, y'all.